Right, so just to start with, I work for IBM, so I need that. Moving on. I am Mike Elsmore, developer advocate. There's my email if you want to just pester me with stuff. I'm quite open to it because I get bored with databases quite a lot. So I work on IBM Cloud Data Services, which are these 5 services at the moment, so all SaaS-based database things. Who's here's heard of Compose? Well, formerly Mongo HQ. Which means, yay, we actually have some genuine things that you want to play with and use and act in stuff. So at last, IBM's useful to people. I spend most of my days doing this because I genuinely don't know what I'm doing. Which means I then do this because I'm trying to think of what I've just done, which eventually leads to this, which is my current state of work. Why do things not work? But right, I'm not here to talk about evangelism. I'm here to talk about that thing. Who here has heard of Hackference? That's actually a really good amount, considering half of you I've never seen before. And I'm like the biggest evangelist for my event ever. So, yeah. Sorry, this is my favourite GIF at the moment, and I don't know why. So, a bit of detail. Oh, it actually comes out properly. Hackference is in Birmingham. I couldn't actually find a decent image to represent it, so let's have Legolas. It's one of 2 conferences, tech conferences in Birmingham, which, considering it's the second city, is a little bit weird. It's the only 3-day conference and hackathon outside of London. The only one I know inside of London is Disrupt. And it's in its 3rd year. I would have put a logo for this year, but it's actually just last year's logo. I didn't bother changing it again. In the last 3 years, we are having 30+ speakers. I actually lost count because I realised we had a few repeat speakers, Joe, and it made things a little awkward. We've had over 20 APIs. And I genuinely have no idea what else because it's quite hard to keep facts in your head all the time. So Rage is a good start. You need a bit of history for all this stuff to actually make sense. I started hacking in 2012, so I'm a little bit younger than Tim, not much. So I had that nice, lovely image of what hackers were when I started. If you haven't seen Kung Fury, seriously, you need to watch it. It is hilarious. It's 30 minutes of your life well spent. All right, so I tried finding all these hackathons. I was living in Birmingham at the time, and surprisingly, there weren't any in the city. They were all very infrequently advertised in London or anywhere else. I randomly found out about this one, which is Kings of Code. Who's heard of that? Yay! Surprising people. Oddly enough, the people from Amsterdam haven't heard about it.
I thought it was that one.
Yeah, it's the TNW one before it became startup. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of startup hacks, so sorry. I got a random discount code from a guy I knew, decided to fly over and attend my first proper hackathon, and then went to a conference and went, this is great! These things, you know what? These are really cool, so I can, decide I want to get into more hacking. Yeah, I'm really enjoying the GIF-heavy thing today. I don't know why. So, but surprisingly, still couldn't find it in Birmingham, still infrequently advertised in London. You had to be essentially part of the culture in the city to know about these things. So if I happened to have known Dom Hodgkinson or Don Hodgson, Cristiano, Tim, anyone, I would have found stuff, but I didn't because I was on my own. Oh no, there's 3 of us in Birmingham going, please send me to events. Do you really want to do you want me to get louder?
Yeah.
Really?
Sorry.
Right, so I decided nuts to this, I'll make my own. So Hackference was born out of a complete frustration at the fact that I couldn't find something else I wanted to go to. Who else has started a hack at their university because they couldn't actually find one that was nearby? I'm surprised. So that means the rest of you had a healthy hacker culture around you. Ignoring the Londoners here, to be honest, because you actually do. So I went on full-on Twitter hustle mode. Literally just emailing people, tweeting people I'd spoken to, finding out sponsors from there. Surprisingly effective if you just keep badgering them. So if there's a company you like that you've never spoken to before, genuinely attack the Twitter account. It seems to work. Fun fact. So I went on a full-on just looking everywhere for more hackathons, trying to find some more stuff to do. And I found this thing. Who here has heard of Hacked? Right. Hacked is still, in my mind, one of the top 5 conferences, top 5 hackathons I have ever been to. It may have had the worst Wi-Fi fail ever, but it was just hilarious. It was fun. Everybody was happy. We had a farting banana on stage. There's nothing that beats that. And genuinely a farting banana. It's what some people discover with the makey and dead banana skins. Don't ask. Ask you, actually. It's funnier. Whilst I was over there, I found people who were like-minded and decided, you'll notice one of them, so young. Yeah, and they had these really cool hoodies as well. I wonder what happened to Hackcon, really. Yeah, and I found like-minded people. Thought, there are other people like me? It's worth doing. I also got the vision I wanted for Hackference, which was a completely open event just around learning. It wasn't about startups. It wasn't about building for money or prizes. It was just building because you damn well enjoyed making things. And that's all because of this event. So, more hustling. Getting more people bums and seats because it's in the middle of the country and nobody wants to travel outside of London, surprisingly. And we carry on, more hustle, and I go mental. This was actually a picture taken for the promo of the event, but I've realised it really fits for when I go nuts, which if anyone was around for last year and when certain people broke a chair the first year, it's kind of my face when things happen. But time came, people rocked up. Actually, there's a rather large amount of them, then had talks. This talk has become legendary to certain people because there was a quadcopter that crashed into the crowd. Were you there?
Yeah, it was. It crashed into Hackcon.
Oh yeah, it did crash into Hackcon. Nearly, yeah, that was funny. Yeah, I'm so glad nobody asked because I had bought insurance I didn't understand at the time. Hey, suggestion, make sure you read all the insurance just in case. I now know never to include soldering irons at any of my events. Or a catapult. So, people then went on to hacking next day, and they presented stuff, once again, young, scary young face. And they got judged, and you know what? Whilst all this is going on, I immediately regret everything I'd done for the last 6 months. I spent 6 months building this and going, I hate this, and I hate everybody who's here. Why am I doing this to myself? At the end of the presentations, I then ask a stupid question. Who wants to do this next year? You know what was wrong? Everybody said they wanted to do it next year. And it was, in my eyes, it was a horrible event. It was in a windy, cold place that Hugh kept opening the door for. And everything smelled a little funky at the end of it. Why would anybody want to repeat this? Oddly enough, they did. And my mind was blown. So I end up repeating this 2 more times in the process of doing third. Oy vey. So, context apply. Do you understand why I was quite angry and ragey at all this stuff? Right. Disclaimer, all this is opinion, none of it's truth. There may be some hand-waving, because I get a little bit gesticulatory when I get angry. And also, I don't follow any of my own advice. So it's great advice for you, I still won't do it myself, I'm sorry. I'm really great at analysing the problem, then going, but I've already done it now. So, making the legend continue. This talk is actually about what things I discovered from my humble little event and how I've managed to keep it alive for 3 years. Because how many of you people are on your first or second event now? Right, so how many of you actually handed over to a new committee of people to do it when it's your vision you started? So literally just the people from the furthest corners of the UK. Right. It gets a little bit difficult because when you've built something for yourself, it's hard to hand it over to somebody else and have them carry on your vision the way you want it to be. I haven't got away from that. I'm still actually bullying people in my committee to get stuff done the way I want it, but I'm trying. Hence the reason I'm admitting I don't follow my own advice. So, first of all, don't do it alone. I'm pretty sure people can back me up at this. After the first 2 Hackferences, I looked like this. Because I ran the whole thing on my own. So, pardon?
Oh my God, is that what happens?
Also the happiest moment of everyone's life.
Oh! I'm not sure if you're like putting that on to me now or just Joffrey. Just checking. Oh, Josh, thank you very much. But yeah, I tried running the whole thing on my own, and that was ridiculously stupid. Make sure you're working with plenty of people, not just people who are really close to you, but everybody else in the immediate group. So if you're a SOC, make sure you're just getting everybody involved for their opinions, because it makes your life easier when they want to actually actively be involved in doing stuff rather than going, here, job, do it. So, next one is don't take it personally. I have a real problem with this, which I still haven't solved. I think it was about 6 or 7 weeks ago, somebody went on to Twitter and then said my speaker lineup was shite. And I got a little bit depressed and I got a little bit moany, and I'm quite lucky that some people stepped in and actually sent me DMs that actually said, you're not doing a shitty job, you're actually doing it quite well. If they hadn't told me that, there's a chance I may have cancelled the damn thing. I'm not a manic depressive, I just take things very personally. I can't help it. So try not to take things personally, because it will just ruin it for you. On that note, remember to build out your team. How many people here are doing this by committee? So there's 3 or 4 of you running the whole thing? 3 or 4? Like, KCL's a different beast. It's kind of like incestuous everybody.
Wow, cheers.
Tell me I'm wrong. Yeah, there we go. So remember to build out your team. Even if you don't get on with each other and sometimes the opinions just clash, at least you know there'll be people there for you. More importantly, when certain people drop out, so if you're running it in your 3rd year, you've got dissertations coming up, so people's deadlines are clashing. You're going to have people drop out for 3 weeks because they randomly go, oh no, I've got to do 15,000 words. It happens. You've got to have a big enough team that you can absorb that shock factor, and even worse, you can mitigate it somehow. If you haven't noticed, I'm just starting to discover that all the talks this morning are starting to repeat the same conversation points over and over again. I'm guessing that means they're actually quite important. So, but also, make sure you're talking to everyone, especially your sponsors. These people are giving you a lot of money in certain cases, a little money and a lot of help in other places. They're also here to help a lot, and they are a godsend. When things go to pot, they will step up. They're there to help make your event better. They're there to make sure it actually happens in a good way. So just relying on their sagely advice. I'm lucky when I first started, Martin Davis was into like his 11th music hack day across Europe. So he'd essentially MLH on the road in a one dude, very bare huggable state. If you haven't met Martin Davis, you should really have gone to a music hack day, because he's now stopped doing them, which is a shame. They're carrying on, but not with Martin at the head. It's got Hugh instead. Well, make an opinion on that later. Oh, I've already done that one. So we'll just skip to the gif about how they're like asking for money. And they will help. We've got to that bit. You should really give value to everybody, not just the people in the committee, giving it all to the volunteers. So everybody's got to... When you run a hack, you want everybody who's attended to walk away feeling happy about it and feeling awesome about it. You've just got to remember to do the same with the volunteers. I've been to a couple of events where the volunteers seem to have been left out and just left in the corner to fend for themselves. So here, do the door. Oh, nuts, we haven't bothered to think about where you need to go and get your lunch or any of that stuff. So just make sure you keep an eye on everybody. Make sure everybody has got some value in their life from it. I really had to find an excuse to use this one. It kind of works. One important one for me, especially after talking to Kevin this morning, is working in the open. Making sure you keep as much transparency as possible. Work in the open. Everybody can see what you're doing. If somebody disappears, they know what you're doing. If somebody new joins the team, they've got all the back history of everything. So having a commit log of, an alarm is awesome.
I don't remember this being part of my conversation.
Hey, you had zoo. I'm just adding. Do you just want an llama vector now?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll go find you one. All right, those are all the really important points. I don't know if I have any random thoughts, but if you haven't noticed, there's an obligatory need to have Hugh Rawlinson in there, so there's my Hugh slide. Do you still have the hat?
Yes.
There we go. You need to get him to wear it. It's hilarious, absolutely hilarious. Right. Any of that actually makes sense to you? And most of it is a complete repeat of what was said this morning. I understand that. So, Hackference is coming up. Cheeky plug moment. Yeah, there'd be cheeky discount code for 50% off on the student ticket, so you can get yourself there. I think that means the ticket is £25, which is for 20 speakers, I think now, over 3 tracks, covering lots of stuff. And the hackathon's free, so we're doing very limited batch releases. I think we've got 8 left at this exact point. So if anybody wants to steal the last 8 tickets, go to the site and grab them. You may as well come to the conference as well. Ta-da.